Gauging individual progress is a different discussion for all of us. Because, you see, if we're lucky, we can all decipher a different version of prosperity and stake our claim to growth separately and put our own personal spin on such a process. However, it all starts with believing in the transformation of the ideas that make you uniquely special and contribute to translating your vision for your life into your moment of victory. Simply translated, are you able to embrace your own transformation and take hold of your own competitive fire and advantage? As a life and transformational coach, Keane Yu coins himself as a multi-talented individual with a background in digital marketing, with a passion for nutrition and fitness. And his real secret sauce is helping people through their personal development journey. And he's dedicated to helping people reach the fullest height of their own potential and operate at their peak performance level. He possesses a deep understanding of the power of mindset and uses unique coaching techniques to help his clients develop the empowerment they need to break through limiting beliefs and embrace transformational growth. And he joined me this week to tell me more. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. If you're ready, I'll take a moment to welcome you to the program, my friend, and I'm super excited to learn about your journey with personal development and how you help people become the best versions of themselves, my friend. Great to see you, and thanks so very much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. Now, Kate, I know that you're a huge believer in the power of personal development, and I know you're on a personal mission and journey to help people elevate their lives and become the best version of themselves. So I'm wondering if you can tell me about all the great work that you do and what makes you so fabulous, my friend.
Yeah, so I'm a huge advocate and a huge, just a big believer in always bettering the self. It comes from just knowing that we are such amazing creatures that we can better ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. And knowing that whatever obstacles that we face in our lives, one for sure way we can overcome any hardship is to work on the self. And being able to do that definitely will be able to elevate you to face anything that comes your way as you build your best you.
Absolutely. And Ted, what do you think it means to optimize your fullest heights of your personal potential?
So yeah, just optimizing yourself and being the best version of you is just being able to continue to work on yourself and just to show up each and every single day better than you were yesterday. And as you continue to do that, then as you serve other people, you're giving them the best version of you. And it's an ongoing process that we work on every single day. And as we do this, we give ourselves the love and the care that we need so we can then serve other people and be sure to give them our 110% every time.
Yeah, absolutely. And Can you tell me the importance of creating a community of supportive people? How important do you think it is to have a community of support as people go through a personal development journey?
I think it's very, very important to have a community of people that do support you on the journey, because not everybody that you surround yourself with are people that are going to support you in the personal development journey. There's some people that just don't see it as something that's beneficial in their own lives. I think that's just because they might have not experienced the growth in themselves personally. But being in a community and having people around you and having an environment where people are continuously growing with you is a huge contributing factor in your own growth as well. Because as you grow and other people around you are growing, there's ideas that you can share with each other. And there's a common saying, you are the average of the 5 people you're around. So being around like-minded people will definitely elevate you in your personal development journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And can you tell me, I know that your main interest lies in mindset and motivational training and nutrition, my friend. So, why is that such a pillar for you in your personal and professional life? And what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so nutrition is very important to me, just because what we it's kind of like what we feed our mind, what we feed our body is also extremely important. And in order to be full of energy, in order to operate at peak performance, we need to feed ourselves with the proper nutrition in order to be able to get fit physically. So training physically is one aspect of it, and then also pairing it with the proper nutrition will be able to then get better results with your physical and mental well-being. So that's why nutrition is such a big part of it as well. And I think a lot of people overlook nutrition as a part of a personal development journey. A lot of people may think reading a book that's a self-help book is being on the path of personal development. But to me, I think that's a start. But to truly be on a journey of personal development, that comes with working on the body. That comes with consuming the proper food that's nutritious to the vessel, and that also comes with consuming the proper knowledge and continuous learning, and making sure that we're feeding our mind with positive and bright things to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kay, what does that mean to you to optimize peak performance? What do you think that means to you, my friend?
Well, to optimize for peak performance to me means if we are getting ourselves in tip-top shape, or the best shape that we can be, and we're consuming the proper food that's nutritious, then we are able to operate better in terms of our mental clarity. We're able to operate better in terms of our physical performance, whether we're playing sports or training in the gym. We're able to really get the most out of the training, and just really get the full benefit of eating the proper food. So we are treating our body in the best way that we can, so we can operate and function best at the best that we can.
Yeah, and Kate, what do you think it means to take ownership of your own transformation in life?
So to take ownership of your own transformation in life, that is something that we all need to be aware of, and we all need to accept. So I think the first step is to have awareness, knowing that, have the awareness that we can always be better, and then have acceptance and accept that we are in a certain place in life and we want to be better, and we can accept where we are, and then we move forward to take ownership of where we are, and we create a plan and work on it each and every single day, so we can become the best version of us day after day.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ted, I'm fascinated to ask you, what do you think it means to create an inclusive culture? I'll give you an example before I allow you to answer the question. So Kane, in addition to hosting this podcast, I also talk to business leaders about the importance of infusing folks with disabilities into the workforce. So, tell me about it. What do you think it means to create an inclusive culture?
To create an inclusive culture.
Yeah, what do you think that means to you, my friend?
But to create an inclusive culture is to just be, like I said, it's acceptance and just being able to accept that everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses, and being able to be aware of that, and then also be able to organize or facilitate the team to focus on the strengths and to find replacements for, or yeah, to find replacements for the weaknesses, so we're able to really have a well balanced machine operating.
Yeah, and Ken, what do you think it means to live life with passion and purpose, my friend?
So to live life with passion and purpose is to be aligned with your highest values and having a vision of what the long term success looks like. So I think a lot of people are not aware of what they want in their own life. They don't take the time to think about what their long term vision is, and they don't know what their highest values are. So if they're able to identify their highest values and they're able to identify what their long term vision is and who they want to become, then they can identify what it really means to live a passionate and driven life.
Yeah, and Ken, I'm also curious to ask you about living life with joy and having conversations with people that we don't necessarily agree with, but can always learn from. So, what do you think it means to live life with joy, and how important is it, in your view, to have conversations with people with opposing viewpoints? So it allows you to grow individually and collectively as well. What are your thoughts there?
So I think living a life with joy is being self-aware of what makes you happy, and knowing, then again it goes back to the highest, what your highest values are, and being aligned with that and living a life that's aligned with the highest values. And if you're living a life that's aligned with your highest values and the actions that you take daily are congruent to what you value, then that is aligned with living a life full of joy. And for me, as an example, I take my health and my own learning process as a very it's something that's very high up on my values list. So as long as I get that done every single day and I allocate some time to do that, I feel a lot of joy going through that process. And if there's people that do disagree with you, I think it's just being able to be accepting, and it's having an understanding that life is about perspective. Everybody's perspective is different, and we want to be perceptual and really understand why this person thinks this way and just be open to it. And if there's no right or wrong, it's kind of just the way that they see it, and being able to accept that and not let that affect your own perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Ken, I'm a big believer that when it comes to creating a competitive advantage, I think it starts with celebrating what makes you unique. And I'm wondering your thoughts on how we create a competitive advantage in life in order to maximize potential.
Well, I think to create a competitive advantage, that comes down to each individual's own personal development journey. Some people are able to differentiate themselves through the different types of areas that interest them and makes them want to learn more about certain areas in life. And being somebody that's knowledgeable in a certain area is one way to create a competitive advantage. For example, for me, although I talk about personal development, I also include fitness, training, and nutrition as a part of personal development as well. So I'm not looking at personal development only as something that is, like I said, reading a self-help book, but it's everything as a whole to become the best and highest self.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I know that you have a deep understanding of the power of mindset, and you use unique coaching techniques in order to cultivate the most out of people. So I'm wondering if you can tell me about it.
Yeah, so a lot of times working with people that have certain struggles. For example, if somebody has a cannabis addiction and it's trying to help them and be able to get them off the certain vices, such as smoking cannabis, which was something that I actually was I was somebody that smoked a lot of cannabis, and I would consume cannabis daily, and I had to overcome the shift in destroying that vice and build healthy habits around it in order to uh, to completely cut out cannabis. So working with people like that will mean I have to help them with their mindset to be able to shift the negative vices and find a way where we can navigate through their mindset to then replace it with a healthy habit. A lot of times too, people have a certain blockage that's not a real blockage. It's something to do with maybe a fear or something that had previously happened in the past, and the way that they look at things, they will always kind of be in some sort of defensive mode because of some certain trauma or something that had happened before, and it's being able to help them overcome that through a mindset shift and being able to help them look at things from many different perspectives in order for them to break that belief that they've had that's so ingrained in their mind.
Yeah, and Kate, on a broader scale, I'm curious to ask you, what do you think is the key to healing the division that lies in the world today? One of the reasons, Kate, I wanted to start this podcast was I looked at the world and I said to myself that there has to be more that brings us together rather than bring us apart. So, what do you think is the key to creating more bridges of unity in the world?
So, what do I think is the key to bringing more, or the key to creating more bridges for unity?
That's correct. Yeah.
I think is to me, I think it's being able to have the world vibrate at a higher frequency. It's being able to uplift people's spirits and have people feeling good, and as people are feeling good about themselves and as they're raising their vibrations and they're raising their frequency, they're going to be more open to sharing stories about themselves. They're more open to connecting with other people that are also vibrating at higher frequency. And as we're all aligning in terms of the frequency, I think that's going to create a lot more connections, and helping people with the personal development journey is helping people raise and raise their frequency and vibration. And as people go on that journey together, it creates a community of people that are vibrating very, very high, and everybody is just working collectively and collaboratively to just help each other become better. And I think that's how we can help people, how we can create bridges to create more unity. Because what I believe is, as we help one person and we inspire and empower one person, that person will be able to then inspire and empower another person, and it creates a ripple effect of more and more people helping more and more people.
Yeah, and Ken, I wanted to go back to something you said earlier about creating good habits, and I'm curious, what do you think is the key to creating good habits and really taking ownership of the direction of your life?
So creating good habits and taking ownership of the direction of your life comes from having a specific vision of the who you want to become or the who you are trying to become, and then being able to break down the daily task or the action steps that we need to work on to continue to become this person. And as we have that, then we can start creating the daily habits and the daily disciplines, or something I call the non-negotiables that we have to do every single day in order to become that person we have in our vision.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, I always tell people as a motivational speaker that it's important to raise your own level of expectations before you can reach or meet others' standards for your own life. So I'm just curious to get your thoughts on the importance of creating your own level of expectations and developing individual self-confidence and how important that is, my friend.
Yeah, so I like how you said that, because what I do believe is to always be raising our own standards. So always raising our own standards in the way that we live, the way that we operate in life. So being able to raise our own standards, maybe that may mean what we will not be willing to settle for in our own lives. And as we continue to become more and more successful in certain areas of our lives, we have to continue to push the needle forward in our standards. So for example, if we're not raising our standards, then we are not continuing to grow. And as a part of being on a personal development journey, it is consistently raising your own standards and being able to push yourself further and further ahead. And it's continuing to push yourself harder and to push yourself to be stronger. And as we surround ourselves with high achievers, we'll start to realize that these other people that we're around have even higher standards that they set on themselves compared to the standards that we set on ourselves. So that's why it's also very important to be around other people that are playing the game of life at a higher level than you, so you can start seeing what standards they set on themselves and be able to implement higher standards for yourself according to what you see and what you admire in other people.
And when it comes down to it, Ken, what do you think is the key to helping people unlock their truest potential and helping them grow as people? What do you think is the key to really helping people maximize their personal level of potential?
I think I'd say the first key, in my opinion, is just having them feel better about themselves physically. Because to have somebody feel better about themselves physically, it does take a little bit of a mindset shift. They need to look in the mirror and realize and see that I'm looking at my physique, I can do better. And once they're able to improve their physique and be in a better shape that they were from where they started, they can actually see that it's a very tangible result that somebody can see when they get in a little bit of a better shape physically. And with that, being in a better physical shape, you'll then operate in life at another level because you push yourself to become better physically. You see it tangibly, and every time you look in the mirror, you'll then see you'll see yourself being proud of what you've worked on, because the reflection that you're seeing in the mirror is the reflection of what's happening on the inside as well. So as you're getting physically fit, then you'll start to see yourself in a way that's a little bit more confident, you'll have a little bit more self-esteem, you have a little bit more self-worth, and as you continue to work on your physical shape, you'll start to increase your self-esteem, you'll start to increase your self-confidence, and your self-worth will start dramatically increasing because it's very tangible.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Ken, I'm also wondering your thoughts on the key to eliminating mental obstacles as well, because, I think resilience is the key to overcoming adversity. So I'm curious to ask you about what do you think is the key to overcoming mental obstacles?
So I think the key to overcoming mental obstacle is being able to just build mental resilience. And in order to build mental resilience, that comes with discipline. So if you're somebody who has worked on worked on your discipline and you're continuously doing the things you don't like to do, even though just because you know you have to do it, and you keep showing up, you're continuously building your discipline, your self-confidence is increasing, and eventually as you work on your discipline, you'll have more mental resilience. And as you have more mental resilience, then overcoming certain mental obstacle becomes a lot easier, just because as you're more and more self-confidence, the negative self-talk will be not as impactful as it was if you were not as mentally resilient.
Yeah, and Ken, at the end of, excuse me, at the middle of next month, my friend, I'm giving a presentation at college students about the importance of creating your own individual identity. So, what do you think it means to create an individual identity?
So your own individual identity, to me, I believe that's your personal brand. That's that's who you're showing up as to the world, and you'll do things in a certain way, and that's kind of eventually what you'll be known for. So to create your own personal identity, it's really seeing who that person is that you want to be in your vision and becoming that person day after day and continue to live as that person. And as you do that, then you're becoming your own identity, your own personal identity, and in other words, your own personal brand.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ken, what do you think is the key to authentically connecting with people that you haven't met before? So, what do you think is the key to connecting with people?
I think the key to connecting with people is just to be genuine, be authentic, and just honestly be interested in them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ken, I'm fascinated to ask you about your upbringing and how it affects the work that you do today, and how it personally affected your personal life and the way you view the world. So, tell me about who you are and where you come from, my friend. I'm fascinated.
Yeah, so my upbringing, it was very good upbringing. I I have a very loving family. We're still very close to each other, and like now that I'm 30, still see my parents very often. I see my brothers very often. We we have I'm very grateful for the family that I have. And going to school, I wasn't very academically successful. I was not a student that would be getting good grades. I was a student that would always be getting in trouble, was always in the principal's office. I was, quote unquote, more of a rebel. And as I went through high school, I was always getting into trouble. And I barely even graduated high school, but gratefully I did. And I didn't really have a very tough upbringing. The my parents put me in a lot of sports, so I think that developed me in a way where it opened me up to a lot of development per se. So I think that's kind of how I got on that path of personal development, is as I was doing a lot of different extracurricular activities, it made me driven to always want to be better at certain things. So for example, I played a lot of volleyball, played a lot of basketball, I was in taekwondo. Um, these different things that my parents had put me through, I always wanted to be good at them. So I think being exposed to that there are certain aspects that I learned from. I learned from them. For example, volleyball and basketball, we learn teamwork, and in Taekwondo, it's more of a kind of like a solo sport, but still not a solo sport. And there's a lot that we can learn from that. And I always want to be really good at it. So I think that's kind of how my path of personal development started was these different extracurricular activities. And as I got older, I started. I went to post secondary after high school, and I only went for 2 semesters, and I was suspended. I was on academic suspension, and which that what that means was I didn't get good grades, and my grades were so bad that I was basically suspended because I had poor grades. So I wasn't able to attend school anymore. So that's when I decided to start working full time as a at whatever job I can find, and eventually I landed a job as a car washer in the car dealership, and then I got promoted very quickly to become a service advisor. And through that time, I actually got into like 3 car accidents within a year, 2 years. So that was a little bit shocking. It's kind of having these experiences like back to back to back within the matter of like 2 years, and it's just always been grateful that I I came out of them pretty much very unharmed, and it made me think like things can kind of really just happen really fast. And as I continue to pursue life working, I felt that there was always more that I can do, and eventually I went back to school for marketing and business, and then over time I felt that I was able to help other businesses do this on my own. So I started a small little agency, and during the COVID lockdown, I felt that I was not really expanding my network because in Vancouver, where I'm from, Vancouver, Canada, our lockdown was very unique. We basically weren't allowed to go anywhere, and because of that, I felt that my network was diminishing really, really fast, and I was only talking to about 10 people throughout the whole 2 years, and I felt that there had to be more in life than just working on the computer 24/7. And as I did that, I thought real estate would be my answer to connecting with people locally and be more valuable to the local community. So as I got my real estate license, I did a few deals, and then I felt that that wasn't it. And over time, as I got committed to getting into the best shape of my own life, I felt that I was ready to help other people do that. And that's kind of how my whole coaching program started. Was after I got into the best shape of my life, I finally had the confidence of being able to share my own what I do for my own personal development with other people.
Yeah, life is about paying it forward and sharing knowledge, isn't it, Kane?
Definitely.
Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that, my friend. And I'm curious to ask you, what do you think is being the turning point in your life that has impacted you the most?
The turning point that had impacted me the most, I think that came from probably from the few car accidents that I've been in within within the past 2 years. Well, this happened probably back in 2012 or so, and within 2012, 2013, I think I got in 3 car accidents, and all 3 times the cars were total loss, and all 3 times were not my fault, and it was kind of just like a random. It was very those 3 accidents were all very, very random, and gratefully, I walked out of them unharmed. But it really makes you think: is like, how lucky am I to walk out of these 3 car accidents where the cars are total lost, and I walk out of them in one piece.
Yeah, absolutely. And based on what you just finished telling me, Kane, I'm also wondering, your thoughts on how you view the word equality and acceptance for all people. So, how do you define the word equality, my friend?
The word of quality.
Yeah, equality. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so equality to me is, I think, just hmm. I think equality is to me is fairness, and everybody should everybody should be treated fairly, and everybody will also have their strengths and weaknesses, and there's also what I believe is called the law of polarity. So wherever there's light, there has to be shadow. And I think, to me, when I hear equality, it's I see yin and yang, and it reminds me of the law of polarity. So I'm having a very tough time being able to describe that, but I think it's just, to me, there's the world is balanced, and that's what equality means to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And kid, my final question for you this afternoon is: when you look at your own personal and professional legacy, how do you want your legacy to be defined? How do you want to be remembered, my friend?
Well, how I want to be remembered is just to be remembered as somebody who is consistent, who's disciplined, who's just helping others become the best that they can be by being the best that Keane is can be. So I want to be remembered as somebody who's on a personal development journey, that's working on himself consistently and continuously, and being that person that's setting an example for other people to do the same, and just to be remembered as somebody who's helping others become their best and highest self.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kane, finally tell me, if people want to get connected with the good work that you do, my friend, what's the best way they can do that?
Yeah, the best way to connect with me is through Instagram at Keane Yu, at KeaneYu. I'm always on Instagram. If you ever want to reach me, you can always shoot me a DM, and I'll get back to you very, very quick. That's the main platform that I'm always on, and I'm on it every day.
Kian, well, I really want to thank you for your work in promoting the need for all of us to value our personal development and growth journey. Your work in the space of life transformation, my friend, is most appreciated, as well as your time on my behalf. And I want to thank you for engaging in conversation with me this afternoon. It's most appreciated.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was great.